This amount of concrete is enough to build a 2-lane highway all the way to Nashville. But once complete, this will become the new Chickamauga Lock. We're continuing to follow breaking news of a fire in East Ridge this morning at the Germantown Garden Apartments. Thankfully, the fire is contained. We're at the Crossing Apartments on Fant Drive. It's like a ghost town, as one person who got back here just about an hour ago when we first arrived was telling me. We've been talking a lot about Black Branch Creek since all of the flooding in Catoosa County last week, especially at the Crossing Apartments over in Fort Oglethorpe. Hi, everybody. I'm Logan Dubel with Local 3 News.
Local 3's Logan Dubel joins us now with more on the efforts to keep the city financially healthy and how much that's going to cost itself. Hey, Logan.
Yeah, it's certainly going to cost money now to save later. That's what they're hoping. This budget research proposal. Every single week, one of these schools brings us something different. Yeah. This light show is something special. From Hickson, where a man is dead, 2 police officers are on leave, and the search for another person is underway. I promise you guys cheerleaders all morning, so here they go. Here at East Ridge High School, we'll be talking with the principal and these cheerleaders as a new school year gets underway in Hamilton County this morning. They say that everything is still on the table. That, of course, would include a possible strike, but also continuing those negotiations with Volkswagen.
Logan, what are you finding here?
It's a lot to dig into, and it stems not just from one county, guys, but 2 that we're watching. These records document Nathan Dawson's suspension from Hamilton County schools. Tell us a little bit about this team and what makes their spirit so special. These signs that all say "Bring them home now" have been the first thing that people coming to Chattanooga's Jewish Cultural Center have seen for nearly 2 years. Today, that demand is finally being answered. They just handed me this hat that says Dub on it. That is what Walker Valley is looking for. And of course, that's not all there is to do across the area this weekend. From Pumpkin Town in Athens, Tennessee, the Walnut Street Bridge is opening this weekend for one day only, just for runners. Here's this weekend's 3 to get ready. And Latrice, before I hung up with them, I said we have to do something for Latrice and our Local 3 News team. So take a listen here.
Okay, I'm listening.
If you're going really fast, no need to be in a hurry. Stop and watch Local 3 News with Logan and Latrice Curry.
It's been nearly 2 weeks since floodwaters ripped through the Tennessee Valley, but the frustration continues at the Crossing Apartments in Fort Oglethorpe.
Residents have shared their concerns with our Logan Dubel for the past few weeks, and he looked in our archives and found that flooding and frustration are nothing new at this complex.
In unison, residents have told us that this isn't the first time floodwaters have pummeled this complex, which used to be known as the Battlewood Apartments. Preservation Management only began operating this property in the last few years, but a trip to our archives shows that this problem goes back decades.
These folks are used to flooding waters. This happens every time a hard rain falls.
Because right down here, there's a creek at the edge of these apartments, and it gets filled up.
14 years later.
I know several times this place has flooded up here. I think this is about the worst it's been.
It's heartbreaking, and we don't have a whole lot to start with.
And just last week,
I had to literally wade through. My grandchildren came to my rescue. We waded through all of that sewer water and propane, and I was like, this is just uncalled for.
3 decades, 3 floods, and the same sentiments. Submerged cars and destroyed homes. Residents past and present have blamed nearby Black Branch Creek. But as Fort Oglethorpe leaders told us last week, the property owner would have to pay for any mitigation project. Until units have new floors and sheetrock, dozens of residents remain displaced. Janet Gass has lived there for 20 years. She stayed at a shelter for one night, but has slept in her car instead of returning to her apartment. The flood still haunts her.
I did sleep in the car for like 4 nights, which hurt me bad, and because I didn't know of anything else.
She wants Preservation Management to step up.
I wish they would run it like real human beings and think about other human beings and put themselves in our place, or act like we're their family if they care about their family.
Preservation did send residents a letter acknowledging the historic flooding and set up a phone line dedicated to addressing their challenges. Staff answered Local 3 on that phone line, and they passed our questions on to the owner last week, but we have not yet heard back. Many residents rely on Section 8 vouchers. Those are administered by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, also known as HUD. We can confirm that HUD and the property ownership did hold a meeting and that property ownership did not inform HUD of the storm damage until 6 days after the fact. These residents, though, of course, asking for better treatment, far beyond just new walls. Logan Dubel, Local 3 News.
We're a few weeks into the new school year, and for most families, it's a time of new beginnings.
But the first week of school brought unimaginable tragedy to one Hamilton County family. Silas Herndon, just 14 years old, died by suicide last month.
Now Silas's father is sharing this tragic story with an urgent message to other parents. Logan Dubel reports.
When you walk into the Herndon home in Sail Creek, there's a memorial to Silas. Photos, artwork, reminders of a bright light gone too soon, now collecting dust. But that's okay for Silas's father, Mark, because that dust is far from settled on his call to action.
We cannot sit here and not do anything anymore.
Silas was a student at the Chattanooga School for Arts and Sciences their entire life. Silas was a member of the LGBTQ+ community, and despite being surrounded by love, Mark says Silas struggled with identity. Even with a supportive family, caring sisters, friends, and counselors, Mark realizes he still had lessons to learn as a parent.
Our stubbornness is very harmful to them, and it's harmful in a way that we, as a family, are unwilling to hear anymore.
It all comes down to listening. Mark says today's kids face challenges that many parents simply didn't experience growing up.
We seem to be missing how soon our kids are experiencing these adult things because of the anxieties of life that we don't understand, because we grew up in another time and with situations that we swept under the rug a whole lot more than we do now.
Sadly, Silas's story isn't unique. A new report from the Tennessee Department of Health paints a troubling picture. Hamilton County saw the biggest increase in the suicide rate statewide, jumping 56%. Across Tennessee, suicides among kids ages 10 to 17 rose 47% between 2019 and 2023. For Mark, these aren't just statistics. These numbers represent families like his, and that's driving him to take action.
That thing's waking up in me, and unfortunately for those around me, I'm a pretty loud guy.
Mark plans to address the Hamilton County Board of Education on September 18th. He's upset the board recently voted to end a program that provided in-school counseling. While Silas didn't use that specific service, Mark calls the decision a mistake. Silas did seek community at the Seed Theater, a place that also serves as a safe space for LGBTQ youth.
Regardless of who you are as a person, what your background is, what your class is, what kind of money is in your family, what kind of resources you have, everybody is at risk for mental health illness. Everybody is at risk for suicide ideation. And if everybody has a safe place to process and to deal with those emotions, then everybody can be safe.
Although Silas was a quiet kid, their impact on others was anything but.
I'm proud as a dad to see a community of people come out and say that they're sad to see a light go out that shouldn't have gone out. He was that smile that spoke. I think that's what people saw the most in him, in them. See how I'm learning too.
A local powerlifter is headed to Las Vegas this weekend, hoping to bring him a gold medal in the Olympia Pro Powerlifting competition.
Local 3's Logan Dubel met the strongman at the gym and shows us how he's helping build a community around strength.
This is 705.5.
Jason Banks first walked through the doors of Grit House Gym in 2019.
I came in and there were a lot of powerlifters in here that it kind of took me under their wing and invited me to get back into the sport.
The Army veteran, once college cross-country runner, and until recently Volkswagen worker, says he struggled with alcohol. He needed an outlet. He had tried powerlifting before.
When I got out of the Army, I needed something, and I tried bodybuilding, but I really like Reese cups, man. So I like candy and I like food.
But when the pandemic hit, he committed to the gym. maybe too much.
I tore my bicep in 2020, and that set me back for a couple of weeks. I had a massive hernia. I had a huge complex hernia surgery and had to come back from that. I tore my groin. I tore my adductor. I tore my quad.
None of that stopped him. Now he trains 3 to 4 days a week. That led to his qualification for this weekend's trip to Sin City. He'll bench, squat, and deadlift. His wife, April Banks, is his biggest cheerleader.
He's been told so many times by people in his past that nobody cares, or, you know, it's not a big deal, nobody cares. And I think it's time that people start caring.
In just the past 6 months, Jason started training others with his own business called Unshakable, teaching them to strive not for the look, but the strength of powerlifting.
So I think this is actually 155.
Okay.
Which is fine.
Hannah Wilkinson is one of Jason's athletes.
Stay tight. Big air. Start.
A mom of 2 young kids and a Juilliard-trained musician, if you had preconceived notions about who becomes a powerlifter, think again. She competed at her first meet in July.
The camaraderie is so intense and crazy and wonderful. I didn't know these people from Adam, and they came up and congratulated me and gave me hugs, and they wanted to see me succeed.
Camaraderie felt beyond just powerlifting.
There's a pretty famous weightlifter from the Chattanooga area that's done more than we could ever dream of doing in this sport.
That would be Olivia Reeves, who brought home the gold in Olympic weightlifting last summer. Weightlifting relies on more technique and powerlifting on greater raw power. But to Banks, the community is one.
We hear the term Nooga Strong. I'm not the strongest person in Chattanooga. I'm just the fortunate guy that has managed to make his way to this meet.
Now Banks hits the skies to be among 163 athletes competing from around the world.
I'm peaking really well right now. I'm stronger than I've ever been, and I believe we're going to go to Vegas and come back with a gold medal.
Logan Dubel, Local 3 News.